Astrobots been in 5 games, 4 of which have platinums, and today I'm going to platinum every single one, starting with the Playroom VR, a tech demo that released alongside the PSVR back in 2016. Quickly before starting, it didn't allow me to record footage for this game, so I'm just going to use my screenshots instead. As soon as I booted up the game, I swiped up on my controller's touchpad and got Welcome to VR, revealing all the minigames found within. The first game I went into was Minibot, which houses the gacha claw machine and many miscellaneous trophies I get later on, except for one. It's a me for turning around and seeing all the Astrobots behind me. Since there wasn't much to do in there, I headed into Toy Wars, my first proper game, which is actually DLC, and after horribly failing many times, I got Encounter of the Block Kind. And quickly before moving on, you'll see this little asterisk down by the counter. That just means it's a DLC trophy. Now onto my first non-DLC minigame, Monster Escape, and it's worth mentioning most minigames have VR players and TV players, and I'm doing it solo, so some games will be a bit more difficult, which wasn't the case for Monster Escape. As the VR player, I played as the monster destroying the city. During this first run, I destroyed every building and won without taking any damage. Over the next few rounds, I looked behind me to see that I had a tail, and speaking of looking, I peeked behind the final barrier to get peekaboo, and finally managed to headbutt 2 fighter jets out of the sky to get the final VR trophies. As the TV player, I rescued every civilian and defeated the monster, earning the last 2 trophies in Monster Escape. Which leads me on to my next minigame, Cat and Mouse. The VR player is the cat trying to catch the TV players who are the mice. On my first try, I captured the mice when they needed one more bit of cheese, earning the Battle of the Nerves trophy, and got the Meow trophy for just winning. In round 2, I kept my head out long enough for the dog to come lick my face, getting me best buddies, and also in the same round, I pushed the mouse with my nose for another trophy and finished the game by winning as the mice. Cat and Mouse was child's play compared to Ghost House, which was so much harder. Most of the difficulty came from how it works. The TV player can only see the ghosts, only if the VR player is looking in a certain direction. Luckily, I beat both the living room and toy room on my first try, and it was here in the kitchen where I figured out I could partially take my headset off to try to see where the ghosts were, which didn't fucking work, because if you took it off way too much, the whole game would pause. But fortunately, I got the remaining trophies for clearing the house, and got the 2 miscellaneous trophies for dying and capturing a freaky ghost. With one of the harder games complete, I head into what is probably my favourite game, of Wanted. In this game, the VR player has to shoot a robot that is described by the TV player, or you can just lift the headset up to find out who it is. I was actually so cracked at this game, beating every level first try, which unlocked Endless Mode, where I needed to defeat 35 enemies for a trophy. But before heading in, I found all the miscellaneous trophies outside. The first was for looking at my partner behind me, another was for getting shot on by a bird, and finally using the interphone by the entrance. Now came Endless Mode, which was piss easy. I blew the smoke away from my guns, it was that easy, and I finished with a score of 45. Before I forget, I shot the pianist while waiting for the score to be counted up, leaving one last minigame. Robot Rescue. In this game, you play as Mr. Astrobot himself in a demo for Astro's rescue mission. You go through a singular level trying to save robots and collect as many coins as possible. After my first run, I popped the end balloon and finished the level with over 350 coins, unlocking both Pop It and Minted. I started the level again with another controller that controls a UFO. Punching it with Astro unlocks Friendly Fight, and later I chuck a box at myself getting me another trophy. Finally, using the UFO, I found every robot in the level, and even found the secret bot hidden at the bottom of the world, completing every minigame except for one. Toy Wars. This shit was way harder than it needed to be. It took me around half an hour just to beat it once. Luckily, I managed to destroy 5 enemies with a single bomb throughout my many attempts. With all the collectibles left to get, I went back into Minibot and used all the coins I collected while playing the minigames. After around 10 minutes of brain-numbing collecting, I unlocked both Gacha Gacha and Gacha Mall for finding every collectible. But I'm not done yet. I still had to keep a small helicopter floating for 10 seconds, which was easy enough. Then looked up to see the VR monster from before, and having it look down at me earned me the last trophy alongside the platinum. And with that, the first of 4 games is complete. If you have an old PSVR, I'd highly recommend giving this one a try. It's free and it's actually quite fun, even solo. Now on to Astrobot Rescue Mission, the first official Astrobot title. Similar to every other platformer out there, the goal is to beat each level and find every collectible, in this case the robots and chameleons. The game's simple enough to get through, including the first level for a trophy. I continued playing and made it to this Gorilla Donny, who's the first major boss. After defeating him, I got another trophy, then went back to find all the collectibles I missed before.
Nice. There we go.
To save us all a ton of time, each world trophy wise was the exact same. Defeat every boss, and find every bot and chameleon.
Nice.
While completing all the levels, I ended up finding a few miscellaneous trophies on the way. Sucker for getting Astro stuck to my face, and later in the same level I found goal for obviously scoring a goal.
Woo! Oh shit.
And down the octopus boss fight I got electrocuted while spraying water. And finally this trophy that I'm not even going to try pronounce.
Oh nice.
With all that being said and done, I can finally make my way to the final boss fight against this alien cunt. It took me a few attempts, but I managed to defeat him, earning my last boss fight trophy.
Get done.
With the credits rolling, I shot out the president's name, which is a lot worse when I actually say it in person. Then start with the challenges, that are rewards from the chameleons found before. There's 26 overall, and they all have different quests, including speedruns, point challenges, or damageless runs. Some of these challenges were way fucking harder than they were meant to be, taking me upwards of 30 minutes just to complete. That, and the dodgy hitboxes this game has.
Fuck right off. What? Nice. Wasn't even touching it. What the fuck? The one tiny gap. Please, please, please. Yes! Yes! What? Oh my god. I did it, Astrobot. I saved all your pals.
Over the course of 3 whole hours, I managed to complete every challenge with a gold medal, getting me the remaining bots as well, which now leaves 2 miscellaneous trophies I missed before. Mind the Gap for defeating an enemy using the controller's grappling hook, and You Made Me Spin for defeating 8 enemies with a single spin attack. Similar to the previous game, Rescue Mission has the brain-numbing Gacha Crane game, and do you want to know what makes things even worse? There's over 100 collectibles to grab. So one by one I dove in and started collecting each one, including the secret prize. And after a long tedious half an hour I had finally collected every collectible from inside the machine. Leaving one more miscellaneous trophy I wanted to get for last.
Right, Mr. Astrobot. This fucking game was minted. I have 2 more games to do. It was fun. The VR journey was fun while it lasted. Get it up here.
Now on to Astro's Playroom, a tech demo that released alongside the PS5 to show off its capabilities. This game is formatted way differently than Rescue Mission, having 4 larger worlds with fast travel points found throughout. Each point has a certain amount of collectibles to find, which include artifacts and jigsaw pieces. With that being said, I went into Cooling Springs and within seconds I found the first artifact and jigsaw piece, as well as defeating 3 enemies in quick succession. During the same level, I hopped off a diving board to get hell divers and finished the level managing to find every collectible. I then went on to complete both GPU Jungle and SSD Speedway, making sure to collect everything I found. I'll need to return to these levels a little later to grab some miscellaneous trophies I missed before. Leaving the last level of Memory Meadows to be complete. Around halfway in I got hit by some debris from this giant cloud, then doing the bowling ball part I managed to get a strike.
Oh, go on.
Shortly after getting the strike, I finished the level along with finding the remaining collectibles, unlocking the final boss fight against the PS1's demo disc Dino. Fortunately for me, the boss was really easy, and defeating him unlocks not only the PS5 collectible, but also the speedrun challenges, which are significantly easier than Rescue Mission. You need to get a total time of 7 minutes or under to get a trophy, and fortunately for me, I got 650, so to celebrate I rounded up 10 robots and got the GPU kit to punch them up. With the speedruns now complete, I started getting the remaining collectibles from the gacha machine, which compared to the last two games was infinitely better. I got trophies for collecting my first, the secret and half the gachas, and I was around tier I ran out of coins, so I decided to hit 2 birds with 1 stone and collect coins as well as finding the remaining miscellaneous trophies. Bye. We need one of these. There we go. With almost every miscellaneous trophy found, I went back to the gacha machine to finally find the remaining items. That should be all the collectibles sorted. Wait. Oh, never mind. And don't worry, I'll come back for the newly added items later. All that remains now are trophies found in the PlayStation Virtual Museum, starting with this way up for punching the PS2 logo, the very far point for getting to the front of the PSVR aim controller, I recognise you for going into the PSVR headset, disc swap for opening the PS1, Honey I'm Home for walking for the PS Home logo, Supercomputer for revealing the old Sony Interactive logo, the last guy for having 20 bots following me, and finally the most fitting the last trophy is for getting our very own Platinum trophy. And yes, I remembered to collect the 7 new collectibles and found the newly hidden robots found in each level. And now the game you've probably been waiting for, Astrobot. We're back to singular levels now spread across 6 galaxies, the Gorilla Nebula, the Tentacle System, Serpent Starway, Camel Cosmos, Feather Cluster, and the Lost Galaxy, found by finding the secret exits in certain levels. Let's start in the Gorilla System. Within seconds of starting the first level, I found both my first robot and puzzle piece. Then a little later in the Derby construction level, I scored a free partner that earned me the Jammer Slammer. I'm so good at this game. I continued on, making sure to save every bot as I found them, and while playing the Ape Escape inspired level, I found the last bot in the Gorilla System, also saving the mothership's memory in the process. Using all the jigsaw pieces I found in the galaxy, I also made the Gacha Lab, which includes collectibles which I'll be grabbing later on. The Tentacle System's next, and the process is pretty much the exact same. Save bots, find jigsaws, and escape using secret exits. Down the Trunk of Funk level however, I also found a miscellaneous trophy for spraying Big Papa Tree's face full of water. What? Up next is my personal favourite level, Bot of War. While playing it, you can find up to 8 ravens, and finding each one gets you the Eyes of the All-Seeing Father trophy. It's also here where I find all the remaining bots in the Tentacle System, as well as the mothership's SSD, and I can't forget about the speeder garage as well from the jigsaw pieces. The next 3 systems are pretty much the exact same process, minus a few miscellaneouses, which include time to cash in, and jumping through hoops. Saving the remaining bots and ship parts also give trophies as well. As well as finding enough jigsaw pieces to open the changing rooms in Safari Park. It's also in the Safari Park where you unlock the camera feature, and using it for the first time unlocks Strike Up Pose. That's awesome. With all the main levels finished, I headed out to find the dodgy alien Donnie once again, who stole a wee GPU kit. So, I knocked some sense into that Donnie after one of the coolest boss fights ever, might I add, and saved the kid. With the story complete, I went back to base and accidentally got 6 stars before moving on to the Lost Galaxy. These levels are genuinely the easiest things in the game, having only taken me about an hour to complete every single one. Which brings me to the final gacha grind. Similar to the last titles, there's hundreds of collectibles to find, including puzzle pieces and loads of character items. After a long 20 minutes, I finally got everything, including the final 2 puzzle pieces that unlock the golden statue, and the final level, the Great Master Challenge. What was meant to be the hardest level in the game wasn't actually that bad compared to what I've done previously. Of course it took me a few attempts, but I managed to get there in the end, and found the last hidden bot.
Oh, no way. Is that the onion from Parabola Rapper? No way.
With all the collectibles found, I can focus on collecting all the remaining miscellaneous trophies, starting with the ones I missed in the VIP stages. Net Profit for finding the golden butterfly, the Lost Legacy for finding 3 golden eggs, What a Trip for defeating 7 enemies using the Tripcaster, and finally Double Dug for defeating 2 worms at the same time. Now leaving only the craft site trophies to be complete, starting with Kale for having a scrap with both Ryu and Ken from Street Fighter. Next up, I had Kratos freeze 4 using the Leviathan axe. I then punched a bot tower without it falling to get Keep It Together, then took way too long to figure out how to get Let's Twist It again. Thick of Thieves had me take a photo of both Nathan Drake and Lara Croft at the same time. Next, I punched Kairu or however you pronounce his name from the Yakuza games way too many times to empty his pockets. Wallbuster had me destroy a bot, and since I had bots over, I also decided to get Bot Revolution. Royally Stuck had me get stuck to the Katamari ball, and finally at the top of my game for standing upon the peak of the PS5 mothership.
There we go.
Thank you all so much for watching me get these platinums, and I will see you in the next one.